right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Boeing bombshell. Tonight, hundreds of more local workers are learning they'll be out of a job after the holidays.
Wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour today, and in some cases, we usually see the wind settle down at night. That's not going to be the case. How high the wind goes overnight and what it makes it feel like tomorrow morning.
Our top story, a mother found shot to death in a St. Louis alley just hours after her family says she was kidnapped from Clayton.
She wasn't messed up in bad stuff. I don't know how she got caught up in this.
Tonight, her family is demanding answers and demanding justice. Right now, an intense search is underway for the suspects. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend is live outside St. Louis Police Headquarters with what he has learned about the victim. Robert.
Mike, family members identified the victim as Michelle Hampton. Now tonight they are mourning their loved one and looking for answers. This afternoon, Hampton's devastated brother spoke only to 5 on Your Side. It was a horrific and chilling series of crimes that ultimately cost 37-year-old Michelle Hampton her life.
Yeah, she was parked in front of her house.
Mike Potter says just after 7 Thursday morning, his sister was leaving her home on Whitburn Drive in Clayton near the Galleria when 2 men pulled up in a truck.
Our group messages were going crazy and saying that my sister had just been kidnapped.
Clayton police say at this time they do not have evidence that the encounter was a kidnapping.
They blocked her car in and a guy jumped out and they took her and put her in the truck.
Police did confirm the suspects forced Hampton to drive from Clayton to various locations in St. Louis.
They drove her around to a couple different ATMs and made her withdraw money.
Potter says Michelle's twin sister saw the men with Hampton and tried to stop them before they took off from Clayton.
She tried to follow them and they shot at her car with her kids in the car, almost hitting one of her kids.
Nobody was hurt. Hours later, police said a woman found shot to death in an alley near Greer and Marcus Avenues in North City was Michelle Hampton. Hampton had a 15-year-old daughter.
I think anything is on the table as it relates to the investigation. I can confirm that she was shot.
Outside police headquarters, the heartbreaking news about their loved one's tragic death brought Hampton's twin sister to her knees.
That's my whole life.
She wasn't messed up in bad stuff. I don't know how she got caught up in this. She was a good person.
If you know anything, you're asked to call St. Louis Police. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with Michelle Hampton's funeral expenses. You can find a link right now on KSDK.com. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
We're following breaking news out of Bridgeton right now. The southbound exit from southbound 270 to St. Charles Rock Road is closed due to a crash. As you can see, several emergency vehicles are on the scene. We are working to find out what led to the accident.
A multi-county manhunt for a suspected murderer is now over. The Warren County Sheriff's Department says James Fraser turned himself in this morning. Fraser is accused of killing his neighbor in Wright City on Friday. He now faces first-degree murder charges. His lawyer says he will plead not guilty.
A windy night across St. Louis as some of the coldest air we've seen this season blows into town.
Weather Impact meteorologist Gary Frank is here to tell us how cold it will feel when you head out the door in the morning.
My goodness, it's not something we've had in a while, months and months. That's what it is right now. Now, 46, fine, we can understand that. And you look behind it, 30s, we get that. It's November, it's supposed to be this cold. It just hasn't been. So I just want to prepare you for it as you get out the door. It's going to be a shock to the system. Locally right now, low 40s. Like I said, we've been this cold, but with that west breeze that's consistent at about 20 to 25 miles an hour, even at this hour, and I think our wind's going to start to pick up. We talked about one of the reasons for it, and it really has to do with this cloud cover, and the rain really isn't much of a concern. Of course, it's not cold enough to snow. That's all part of this system, but as that front has moved through and obviously started to usher in some colder air, we're going to see that pressure gradient really start to tighten, and as a result, those winds really pick up for us, even in the overnight hours. So as we're going to see still gusty conditions, we're going to drop down to 35, but look at those gusts up to 30 miles an hour overnight. That's our main weather impact. It is next level cold for the morning. We're going to feel like we're in the 20s, maybe even teens in some cases. Wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles an hour. What it feels like in your city and when we're going to finally see an end to this cold and blustery period.
And tonight, we're getting you prepared for cold, ice, and snow. Our Weather Impact Winter Weather Special will air tonight on our 5+ streaming app at 10:30. You can download the app for free on your Apple Fire and Roku TV devices.
Tonight, a bombshell from Boeing. We first told you last week the company was laying off more than 100 workers in the St. Louis region. Now that number is nearly 7 times larger. It is a story Brent Solomon has been following. He's here to explain which workers will be impacted by the cuts. Brent.
Well, we're talking close to 700 workers. I've just learned 363 of them are based in Berkeley. 239 are in Hazelwood. Nearly 70 are in St. Charles. The news even hitting workers who aren't losing their jobs pretty hard. Take a look at this letter sent to the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. The Boeing company has made the difficult decision to reduce its workforce. The decision is expected to result in the permanent layoff of approximately 692 employees come January. Some 1,600 workers report to different Boeing facilities across our region.
Take a deep breath. What might be a positive out of this situation? And how can we start thinking through the next steps?
That's what job coach Lauren Herring says to workers who find themselves getting the devastating news. The workers being laid off hold various positions. They include engineers, mechanics, and supply chain specialists. I caught up with a Boeing employee who's keeping his job. He asked not to be identified. I am passionate about continuing to support my team, he said, while acknowledging we have good people hurting from everything that's happening. My focus is to treat everyone like people, not resources, and do the best good that I can while praying the leaders above me will do the same.
It's really important for the survivors, the remaining employees of the company, to recognize that the company is taking care of their fellow employees and their friends who are leaving, sometimes under difficult circumstances.
City manager of Berkeley telling 5 on Your Side Wednesday, the city of Berkeley is certainly aware of the overall business challenges facing Boeing. We are confident they will be able to overcome these challenges, meet all obligations, and be stronger than ever in the future. We highly value the contributions they make to our community. Tonight, I made contact with one of the employees who was laid off. She told me she's awaiting her severance package. We've reached out to Boeing and to the labor union representing those workers, specifically to learn whether any more layoffs are expected. We will let you know when we hear back.
New hope tonight for local victims sickened by radioactive waste. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is now pitching a $5 billion cap on mandatory spending for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. That's down from $150 billion. The funding expired back in June after Congress failed to sign off on 2 different Senate bills. Within the last 90 minutes, the city of St. Louis lifted a precautionary boil order impacting several neighborhoods.
It went into effect after a massive water main break last night. And new tonight, Laura Barczewski talked with a business owner who had to adapt just to stay open today.
The water main break happened near the intersection of 13th and Branch Streets. For safety, they had to close down the Branch exit on 70 West to stop drivers from going through the flooded road.
Our entire water infrastructure is connected throughout the city, so an issue up here can affect our water supply down on the south side of the city.
The city of St. Louis says the break in the water main actually happened on a curve that's deep in the ground, making this a complicated fix.
We're not sure on the timeline right now. It's a really complex break, but we're working as diligently as we can to get it done.
A precautionary boil advisory for parts of Jeff Vanderloo, Carr Square, St. Louis Place, Soulard, Benton Park, and Marine Villa affected restaurants for most of the day. McGurk's and Soulard had to close. Big Daddy's, however, decided to make it work.
The bar restaurant business is rough for anybody. We've been doing pretty decent, and I just don't see this, just adapting a little bit to make sure that my employees can show up to work, make money, and our customers have a place to go.
John Veliff is one of the operating partners. He made a run to the store to buy bottled water and cans of soda to get them through the day. At the same time, they also had a Spectrum internet outage.
The one thing that we did lose today was our online order, because there's no way to get internet to my POS system.
The city lifted the boil order about 24 hours after the break. They did multiple tests ensuring the water is safe to drink and use, but this break is only one piece of a larger problem.
This is aging infrastructure. We know that it needs upgrading. So, we're working diligently to find those funds where we can and get the upgrades going.
Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
While the boil advisory has been lifted, the main is still broken, which could continue to affect water pressure. Tonight, a Jefferson County food pantry is salvaging what it can after a devastating fire. The Salvation Army in Arnold lost multiple refrigerators and dry goods when its building caught fire on Tuesday. Volunteers spent today clearing out canned goods and frozen foods. The organization is now searching for a new location to serve Thanksgiving dinner next week. The pantry's future, unclear.
We'll lose a significant amount of food, including canned goods, but the biggest loss is to the structure and the facility itself.
Right now, the Salvation Army is unsure how much insurance will cover. The organization is accepting financial donations to help with repairs. We want to now bring you an update on some breaking news we're following out of Bridgeton. Right now, the exit from southbound 270 to St. Charles Rock Road is closed due to a crash. We just heard back from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. They tell us this is a single car crash with injuries. That exit is expected to reopen soon.
A dream day turned nightmare.
My wedding was sabotaged.
Tonight, the I-Team exposes a lack of regulations for wedding planners.
It's not a largely regulated industry.
Bargain birds, the big Turkey Day savings one local store is promising.
Usually the wind settles down overnight, but it's going to stay up, and in correlation with temperatures near freezing, we'll see it feel very cold. What our wind chill is Thursday morning and how much better it gets by the afternoon.
Tonight, the I-Team is digging into the high-stakes world of the multi-billion-dollar wedding industry.
5 on your side's Paula Fasan examines a Missouri woman's wedding nightmare and exposes systemic problems in an industry that demands greater accountability.
For Tina alums and her husband, their wedding day in St. Louis was supposed to be a celebration of love. Instead, it turned into heartbreak.
Justice needs to be served. My wedding was sabotaged.
Tina says the chaos stemmed from her wedding planner, Ella Fair Event Planning LLC. She says she paid around $10,000 for services that were never delivered.
This is something a kid could put together. I didn't get my decorations. The runner that was put down, it wasn't a full runner. We didn't have a head table. The DJ was playing all the wrong music.
But Tina admits her mistake. She never checked the company's accreditation with a Better Business Bureau. She never spoke with past clients, and she ignored her gut feeling when something seemed off.
I'm grieving. I'm still grieving about this.
It's very, very disappointed. We just put all our trust in her and just left and didn't follow up behind what she was doing.
When we reached out to the wedding planner for an interview, they declined to comment.
There's low barriers to entry, so it's very...
Attorney Creighton Cohn says the wedding industry is a prime target for unscrupulous vendors. He says court records show the apparent owner of Ella Fair Event Planning has a history of financial trouble, including unpaid taxes.
You don't have to have a licensing and registration and things like that. It's not a largely regulated industry.
He warns that many businesses are limited liability companies, or LLCs, shielding owners and leaving couples with limited options to recover their money when things go wrong. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself. Experts urge, research vendors thoroughly, verify registration with the Missouri Secretary of State, and check for lawsuits using Missouri's CaseNet. Read every contract carefully. Ensure terms clearly outline what happens if services are not delivered. And avoid large upfront payments. Pay small deposits and finalize payments closer to the wedding.
I feel robbed, like we just got robbed. Like I got scammed, you know.
Despite everything, Tina says her husband's love has been her silver lining. Her message to other couples is clear. Weddings are emotional, expensive, and high stakes. Don't let a bad planner turn your dream into a nightmare. According to the Wedding Report, a research company, the U.S. wedding industry is worth about $65 billion, with the average wedding costing about $33,000. Experts say tighter budgets are pushing couples to scale back and focus on priorities beyond a single day. For the I-Team, Paula Bassan, 5 on your side.
Good news tonight if you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner. Schnucks says frozen turkey prices are at a 14-year low at 58 cents per pound. You'll also save on all the fixins.
But it's more than just the turkey. It's the full meal. It's the cranberries, the sweet potatoes, the stuffing, the pies, the dinner rolls. And with our deals this year, you can serve a family of 10 for $3.93 per person.
Schnucks will have normal hours up until next Wednesday. Stores will be closed Thanksgiving Day.
One of broadcasting's most distinguished voices is in St. Louis for a special honor. Bob Costas, who started his legendary career here, will receive the Lifetime Achievement Award at this weekend's Musial Awards. From Olympic moments to World Series classics, Bob has brought sports' greatest stories into our home for over 40 years now. He's won 28 Emmys and countless other awards, but he says this one is extra special.
The two awards, no disrespect at all to anything else, the two awards that mean the most to me are the Ford Frick Award, which is the broadcaster's wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and the Musial Award. Because the Musial Award is also connected to baseball because of Stan, but it also represents St. Louis.
The Musials, which honor sportsmanship, are set for Saturday night at Stiefel Theater downtown, and comedian Billy Crystal will be on stage to present the award to Bob Costas. It's going to be a great night.
That's going to be.
Yeah.
All right, Scott's off tonight. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us with the weather impact forecast.
And I can just look ahead to Saturday night. It's not going to be as cold as it will be tonight. Just
That's
stepping
good
out
news.
there. So that's
That
a
is
positive.
good.
Won't be quite as windy either. And we look right now, Kirkwood Farmers Market, you can see things moving around maybe a little bit more than you would expect them to at 10:18 here. And that's going to be a big key component as the wind's moving things around. When it gets this cold, you know, it feels a little cooler than it should. But honestly, it's not all that un-November-like. We just haven't had that of recent. 30s behind it. We have some cloud cover and our wind still out of the west. You'll notice the system here, rain on the front edge, dry side. We're avoiding most of it. There's snow behind it. None of this will impact us at all, except the cloud cover, I think, drags a little further south and really almost works its way fully right on the river line. So that cloud cover more so into the metro east. But still, as this low sits here, what's going to happen is we're kind of sandwiched in between higher pressure off to the southwest, and we're kind of seeing that. That's where the wind's picking up. And also, I think as a result, our temperatures are going to stay up enough because it's still gusty. It's in the mid-30s, most of us around freezing, if not just above. But when you add the wind component, look at some of these winds. After midnight, we'll still see another burst of wind, which could gust up to 40 miles an hour. So this is something that Jim's going to be tracking for you tomorrow morning. But I'm just telling you what, if you're a light sleeper, be prepared to hear the wind rumble outside, just to kind of move some of those trees around. All the leaves will be gone. And we'll stop it there because I think what you'll start off tomorrow with, temperatures in the low to mid 20s is what's going to feel like, even maybe a couple of teens. It is downright chilly. We've not had anything like this in a long time. Prepare for almost a shock to the system right away when you go outside tomorrow morning. Now, through the rest of the next several hours, you'll notice that it's still kind of breezy throughout the day as well. But I think as we get into Friday morning, things finally settle down. So the rest of the day, it is not going to be warm. A northwest breeze, which will gust to 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. Low to mid 40s. I think we top out about 45, 46 tomorrow. It is not a warm day, but once again, it's feeling more like November, but we still have not hit 32. Right now, 35, our lowest number. When number 9, that number may continue to climb. And as you look over the next 7 days, if we don't hit it tonight because of the wind and added cloud cover, we're going to have a couple of days that are awfully close, but we might tie that record. We got more opportunities Monday into Tuesday next week. But like I said, Saturday into Sunday, it's actually pretty nice for some people here visiting out and about. 50s into 60s, not all that cold, and then it returns more like that. By Wednesday into Thursday next week, a lot of travel with Thanksgiving, driving around. There's going to be something going on in the region, rain, snow-wise, so flights are going to be impacted.
Snow-wise?
Not here necessarily, but through the region.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought you meant here.
Maybe, not out of the question, but you know, we got to find some cold air first. We just don't have that. So.
Yeah. But it will be chilly tomorrow.
It'll be chilly, yeah. We're getting there.
Gary, thanks. Sports is next with Corey.
Well, Illinois basketball had its biggest challenge of the young season tonight. SLU and Mizzou matched up on the court to a very lopsided final score, and the WashU women's soccer team is on another special run. Stick around, sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Last season, the Fighting Illini were a win away from playing in the Final Four. This season, it's an almost entirely new roster in Champaign, but the goal remains the same. And tonight, this new-look team got its first real test of the season. Brad Underwood and his 25th-ranked Illini went down to Birmingham to play number 8-ranked Alabama, and the Crimson Tide showed why they're one of the best in the country. Aiden Sherrill finishes off that alley-oop, tied up 15 in the second half. Illinois trying to chip away. Kylan Boswell for 3. We got a 9-point game. Bama would pull away. It was back to a 14-point game after this Will Riley triple. Illini made one more comeback run, but couldn't get all the way back. Alabama wins 100-87. SLU and Mizzou men won't play on the court, but the women will. Billikens made the trek to Columbia today to face Robin Pinchton's Tigers, and it was the Abby Schreck show at Mizzou Arena. The Missouri sophomore was on fire. She made 5 threes and racked up a game-high 19 points as the Tigers took it to their in-state foes, beating SLU 112-59. The SLU men are back in action on Friday. We're still waiting to see if Robbie Avila will be back for the Bills. Coach Shirt called him doubtful this morning. We do know it will be a busy few days for the Billikens. They'll play 3 games in 5 days, and that's just how Coach likes it.
This will be really good for us. This is what we need to take the next steps. We got to continue to work. But I'm glad the way the schedule's worked. But now I do think it's time to get out and start playing. And I think I'm as a coach, equally as excited. Hey, let's get in between these lines and let's really let the competition kind of drive this growth as opposed to just practice driving it against each other.
Mizzou football tries to get back on track this weekend against Mississippi State. It will be the second full game as starting center for Francis Howell grad Drake Heismeyer, who has stepped in for the injured Connor Tollison. Heismeyer had a nice first start against South Carolina and even showed off some nice dance moves in the end zone. The St. Louis kid sure is embracing his moment.
I thought I played well. I wasn't as nervous as I thought it was going to be. I had a really good time out there. It's my first time, really playing. I think it's a really good opportunity for me going out this way. It's my senior year. I got nothing to lose. I'm in the gang. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a cool story. I'm excited to put on, for the state of Missouri. I'm right down the road in St. Louis, so I got a lot of fans, and I was pretty happy about it.
We paused this sportscast for a fashion update. It was Winter Classic uniform reveal day. These are the last 2 looks the Blues used when they played in the Winter Classic. Lots of baby blue going back to the old days of the note. And this is the new look, similar color scheme. See if you notice something missing. No blue note. It isn't on the shoulder. It is, but this will be the first time the Blues are noteless on the chest. It is truly an amazing time for college soccer fans in St. Louis. Between men and women at Divisions 1, 2, and 3, 9 area teams are in the NCAA tournament this week. That's an insane number. And the WashU Bears may just be the most impressive of them all. Winning is the standard for Coach Jim Conlon and the Bears. Last year, they came up 1 win short of a D3 championship. Now they're back and have yet to lose a game this entire season. They're into the Sweet 16 and get to host this weekend for a trip to the Final Four. The Bears love that goose egg in the loss column, but they know the postseason is a different animal.
We've played really well. We played some good opponents. Our strength of schedule is top 25 in the country, and we know we've played the right teams, but the postseason's new. It's 0-0. We're 2-0 now, and we've got a great Colby team coming to town that we need to make sure we're ready for.
We were really happy this season with keeping a 0 in the column, but as soon as we move into the tournament, we're just focusing on each game because we start at 0-0, so it's a new season.
Award season rolls on in Major League Baseball. Tonight, the Cy Young winners. Braves ace Chris Sale claimed the honor in the NL after leading the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Cardinals closer Ryan Helsley finished 9th. In the American League, Tigers lefty Tarek Skubal was a unanimous selection, receiving all 30 place votes. Of course, the Blues jersey is the big talker online today. A lot of the purists not so happy the Blue
don't like that the blue note
they're
is
missing
on the
blue
shoulder.
note on the chest. It's one game. And you're going to see a lot of those floating around. Everybody likes to buy the new jersey.
That's what it is. They like to sell those
Yes.
jerseys. All right. Thanks, Corey.
Well, tonight we got the dish on what size to bring to your Thanksgiving dinner table, and it all hinges on whether you're going over the river.
Tomorrow, volunteers will be out on street corners hawking special editions of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch for Old Newsboys Day. St. Louis tradition raises money for local children's charities. They'll be out at several locations beginning at 5:30 a.m.
And tomorrow's a good day for Thanksgiving travelers to fill up their tanks. Circle K is holding another Fuel Day promotion from 4 until 7 tomorrow afternoon. You can fill up for 40 cents off per gallon.
Now, if you're bringing a side dish to your Thanksgiving dinner, you may want to make sweet potato casserole or green bean casserole, because according to Google, those are the most popular sides in Missouri and Illinois, respectively.
And when it comes to baked goods, Missourians prefer pumpkin pie. Cornbread muffins are the top pick in Illinois. And if you're headed to Nebraska, you'll want to make ramen noodle salad.
In Nebraska?
I don't really understand that one.
I think they need to check their math on that one. Gary has one final check of the weather, very quickly.
It's really cold tomorrow morning. Expect it to feel like it's in the teens in some spots.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis, beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.